On this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast, we learn about the Winchester stages of grief.
Fight.
Bargain.
Bargain with a soul.
Resurrect.
Lie. Let's do this.
So I was like, oh, just in case.
Welcome to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. I'm Diana.
And I'm Liz.
And we're going to talk about season 11, episode 17, Red Meat.
We sure are.
Mm-hmm. But first, what have you been up to, Liz?
Oh, just hanging out in the desert. It was really nice. There's no people in the desert, especially if you go like far enough out in it, then there's like a few people, but then you get to go away from them. I saw like desert dogs and a desert coyote and desert lizards because I was out by Joshua Tree in California, which will come up later on. But if you haven't been to, I didn't actually go inside. I did go inside Joshua Tree because there may be a dispensary that's right inside the Joshua, like right next to the casino that's right inside Joshua Tree. Funny, which I'm just like, I think is hilarious too. Like, so you go get high and then go to the casino, but you're not supposed to consume there. So I don't know. Anyways, so I did not go to the desert to go to the dispensary. I went to the desert to go do aerialist shit and go do fire stuff. And so I fire ate. I transferred fire on my tongue. I transferred to fire with my hands. I breathed it. I did all sorts of stuff with fire. I danced around with it on a sword, danced with it in a box, danced with it with a fox. No, it didn't quite go that far, but so yeah, I had a good time.
You didn't go full Dr. Seuss with it.
I did not go full Dr. Seuss with it, but it seems like a lot of people, if you've never been to any place that's got like that specific of desert community, desert land, it's very similar also kind of to that part of Oregon that I was at earlier in the summer because it's desert people, right? And desert people, they like art. And then like caravans. So there's art tours going on, and there is over like 100 different places up and down the highway where I was at, where you could go look at various art at people's houses. And so like sometimes the people's house was the art. Sometimes it was like art in their yard. It just, there's like there's like one house, this is a giant rainbow and they have rainbows everywhere. There's all sorts of things out there because desert people are fucking weird. But I like it. I'm not saying that in a disparaging way. I like weird. So, and I got my cards read at this really cool like botanical place, and she snorted. I don't know. She blew snuff up my nose before we read my cards. That was a first.
What?
Yeah.
She
so
snuff up your nose.
Yeah. So we had a pendulum that chose like
someone else.
Yeah. So, and then like they put the tobacco or the snuff into like the little pipe thing. And then she like blew it up each of my nostrils, which that wakes your ass up. It's like snorting a cigarette.
I've done like the sniffing snuff. I don't know what else you call it, nasal snuff, because like they started calling it different things snuff later. So I've done that before, and that'll wake you up.
Yeah. But, so it was like, I've never had that happen before either. So that was a fun, interesting thing to do before you get your cards read. And then her husband does these infinity boxes, which are just really fun art projects. Like, and he has like, there's like 2 rooms full of them. And it's one of those things like, man, like nobody comes and looks at these boxes. Someone should. They're really cool though. Like, and they would make really good Instagram pictures. Yeah, I mean, they make like for people who do Insta and stuff like that, they make really good pictures of that. But anyway, so yeah, I went to the desert. I hung on hoops. I hung on chains. I played in a big spiral hoop. That was fun. And yeah, it was a good time.
I went to
What
a
about
beach
you?
desert. So kind of similar, but not. But
Yeah,
it's just pretty much straight south of
our
where we were.
bags. Yeah, our bags had the same sort of sand in them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, we did a little getaway to Cabo. So we went San Jose del Cabo is where we were technically at, but it's my first time down on the Baja Peninsula, and it was really fascinating landscape, like seeing like cacti on the beach, just kind of an interesting, like, I don't know, I just hadn't seen that before. I know it's not the only place, but it's just an interesting feature. But yeah, it was really interesting. Landscape. I got to see sea turtles hatch in a nest on the beach. I got to see sea lions, and they're like just chilling. Do a little snorkel, a little swim, a lot of sitting by the pool, a lot of sitting by the beach, reading, relaxing, a lot of that. But they have a really cool like art gallery walk on one night a week down in the city, and we went to a really cool farm to table place called Flora Farms and had a lovely, lovely, lovely dinner. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, it was just a little getaway. We're not going to discuss the number of steps that my resort had because it was insane. It's like really pretty, but it was like down
You
a
didn't
cliff.
notice that your resort was called La Escuela, and you just didn't ask the
not.
lady. You were just like, "Why is it called this? I don't know."
No, it was lovely. It was just, it's one of those like, and we laughed because we had this a similar experience accidentally several years ago when we went to the Amalfi Coast, and it was like, oh, this is a fuck ton of stairs and this is the only way. But yeah, so no, everything was, it was a great getaway for us that we desperately needed. And now we're back home with all the doggos.
Then you get that message from Apple, like your daily activity has changed, and it thinks that you like climb steps all the time, and then it has to be like, oh no, that's not something you're doing all the time. That was just a daily thing.
My knee doctor probably won't be thrilled, let's just say, but it is what it is. But yeah,
we're not going to talk about knees.
No, we're all settled back at home and getting back to life, I guess. Just cool.
So speaking of getting back to life, we're getting back to life talking about people coming back to life in this episode. Oh, look at that segue.
That was a
masterful.
Good one.
Yes. Yeah, master. So this episode, Red Meat. And I will tell you, I did see an aerialist perform this week. We had a boylesque performer, but two boylesque, but this one, fucker's only been doing Lyra for like a year, and he's all like super buff and like is like 20 times like, don't compare yourself to other people. But I'm sorry, like he can do so many meat hooks, and he's a chef, and his boylesque tag is like patron saint of meat. And I said, so a meat hook is a move in aerial where you're basically hanging by like one hand, and it looks like you're hooking meat. So you look like a piece of meat that's being hooked. So I said he should be the patron saint of meat hooks. But my tagline, just so you guys know, because I did perform, I think you would all be proud. My tagline was bringing skanks back.
Nice.
So, yeah. And so Red Meat. This episode 17 was from season 11. So we're almost done with season 11. Where this is 17. It first aired March 30th. Yeah, I know. Oh my God. But we'll learn. We're still not any closer to solving the whole mystery of season 11. So, but this first aired March 30th, 2016, and was directed by Nina Lopez Corrado. And this was her first episode. Her other credits include things like Mentalist, where she was a primary second unit director, and she was a co-producer on that, and a bunch of other things. This was written by Robert Behrens and Andrew Dabb. Behrens we last saw with The Vessel, and before that, Our Little World, both this season. And Dabb, during this season, he did Form and Void, The Devil in the Details, and Beyond the Mat. Alrighty. So we start off with a very upsetting fight scene. And first we see Sam is fighting someone or something.
Yes. And then we see that Dean is also fighting someone or something. And it's clearly a monster. And I couldn't tell exactly what it was at first. All we know is it's some kind of a monster. And there's hostages there. And then right when our Sam and Dean are about to get the upper hand, one of these picks up a gun. One of the bad guys picks up a gun off the ground and shoots Sam in the belly.
Yep. So he is gut shot.
Bad. That's bad news. Bad news.
It
And
is,
so
and
and
probably
Dean
smells.
Dean kills the vampire. Or well, it wasn't a vampire. So sorry. Bad news.
It was a werewolf.
It's a werewolf. Dean kills the werewolf. Woo. Yeah. And we immediately get
the title card. Yeah.
48 hours earlier.
Yeah, so now we're back in the bunker. And so then we get okay, this episode still isn't going to be about Amara because Dean, they haven't found anything. This is how we get set up for that this season. So, all right, we got a case. All right, what is it? Werewolves. Woohoo. And oddly enough, we are recording this on a super large full moon. I got home last night at 1:30 in the morning and I could see everything in my backyard. It was insane. So, so we're all turning into werewolves tonight. But these werewolves apparently have been eating hearts because there's 5 campers that are missing.
Yes. And so Dean's a little hesitant, like, I don't know if we want to jack with a case because he's sad about Cass. And Sam's like, we'll get him back. But let's go to this case instead.
Yeah. And Dean, I mean, Sam is like really clocking that this is like what is going on with him. But then we shift forward in time from there because this is what we do this episode a lot. Yes. And so we shift forward in time to Sam bleeding out while a chick is non-consensually hanging from something. And then there's also a dude there.
Yeah, there's a couple that are obviously like the hostages to the werewolves. And Dean is getting the first aid kit to get the bullet out of Sam. And he shoves a wad of gauze in Sam's mouth because this is going to hurt. Ooh. And he goes to start digging around and he does get it, but he's going to keep it as a memento.
No,
this looks very painful. And very unpleasant and very painful.
It's a very unpleasant field surgery. And Dean then finds the keys for the girls that are hanging. And he is like, I think what did this was werewolves. And she's like, but it wasn't a full moon.
Mm-hmm. And her wrists are fucked. Like she is out of it. And she is like, her wrists are like, the skin's gone. They are infected as hell. It is not great. And it's her.
So he put some Neosporin on them.
And he's like, oh, they must be full bloods if they can turn on not a full moon.
Pure bloods, not full bloods. He uses the much grosser term of pure blood.
Yeah, sorry. I just didn't want to write it. I knew I should.
Yeah,
the right word.
Probably it. Yeah,
Brody. So of course they're in this cabin that has no landline and no cell service because that's convenient here.
Because that's the woods.
Dean's like, yeah. And Dean's like, well, I've got to go get service and call for help. Y'all just stay here. and Sam, y'all just stay here. I'll be back. And they're like talking about this, these 2 campers that are the missing campers. They're on their hitchhiking honeymoon through national parks.
Yeah, so this dude, and this is the first sign that this dude is a douchebag. He is trying to comfort her by being like, but honey, this is like, what we're doing. This is our honeymoon. We're hitchhiking through the national parks, which is like, you cheap bastard. Like, you couldn't even like rent a car for this. What the fuck is wrong with you? So we're going to talk about some other
Airbnb
people.
Somewhere nice in the woods.
Or this is pre-Airbnb, so I don't think you could do that. But you at least get a campsite, right? And I mean, or something that's slightly nicer than just taking your new bride hitchhiking through, just trying to get your wife murdered like that. So we're going to talk about a very specific national park, and we're going to talk about JT, aka Joshua Tree, because that's where I just was, and we're going to talk about things from their incident report. And so these are highlights going back to the 1980s of things that happened in Joshua Tree. All right. So the first one comes from July 6, 1987. And this was an attack on a park service installation. Location, park headquarters. California Highway Patrol officers tried to stop an international scout heading toward the Marine base at 23 Palms for traffic infractions. Driver LM turned toward the park headquarters with police pursuing. He lit a flare 1 mile from the IIQ and another near the building, both placed under the scout's front seat. The vehicle crashed through the cactus garden wall in front of the visitor center. He then fired 4 to 5 rounds from a weapon, then both the vehicle and he ignited. He fled, but was still charred from the waist up and was put into a burn center, was not expected to live. Spoiler alert, he does not. The vehicle contained 5 10-gallon containers of butane, 2 tanks of acetylene, 10 1-quart containers of butane. Okay, I'm repeating on that one, but they repeated that, not me. 50 gallons of gas and 2, I guess maybe it was a different size container. All right, so he had gallons of butane, then he had quarts of butane, then he had 50 gallons of gas, which is like so much. 2.5 and 5-gallon containers, and he had hundreds of books and matches, and then a whole bunch of flares. Then they found a bunch of weapons in the vehicle, and they revealed the fire was a planned human incendiary attack on a government installation, with park buildings likely a second attack after 29 Palms was unreachable. I said 23 Palms earlier. I think that's supposed to be 29 Palms. So afterwards, they learned that the LM, I'm just using his initials, that's what they used. He was arrested for assaulting a ranger there some time ago and had filed an unsuccessful tort claim against the park, which had claimed that he claimed the arrest was illegal. He had reportedly had a lot of hatred for the Park Service and for the IRS, and had recently lost his house to the latter for non-payment of taxes. He is said to have been a great admirer of the monkey wrench approach to environmental radicalism. One of the tenets of that is that a person who believes in monkey wrenching is for some reason disposed to commit suicide should at the same time destroy something man-made, such as a dam or a power plant, which is perceived to be environmentally intrusive. It has been determined that the visitor center and the headquarters of the park were LM's target, not the Marine base. He made several attempts to ignite the flammables in his vehicle before succeeding, then shot himself with a Derringer. Wow. So, and he was wounded and burned over 44% of his, he burned over 44% of his body. The FBI estimated the material in his vehicle had the equivalent of 1,150 sticks of dynamite, and it only failed to explode because the cans containing the materials vented as they were supposed to. So when they were exposed to extreme heat, they didn't blow up. But
it was properly stored.
The cans did their job, so that's the only thing that kept that from going great. Wow. So that happened in 1987. Then also that year, August 26th, this was the follow-up to the harmonic convergence. Okay, so this happened before were you even born in 87? I guess, yeah, you were. Yeah, so I was 10. So this was when all these people around the world decided that they were going to meditate at the same time, and that was going to stop the world from ending. And I forget what it was also supposed to do. I think it was supposed to bring aliens. Maybe that's responsible for what the fuck is happening now. Who knows? So Joshua Tree had extraordinary crowds. They had a total of 2,384 visitors that were counted through the one-manned entrance station, with many more arriving on other roads. Fuck that. No, thank you, sir. I do not want to be stuck behind 2,000 people. No. So they basically reported New York Grid, like all of the camping sites were filled and there was all over. But the only problems they encountered was some minor first aid from heat exhaustion. And then I think some people may have died from doing some rock climbing stuff. All right. 1988. In January that year, narcotics. So there was a lot of drug things in these reports, and I didn't say them all. This one, though, I thought was a good one, because also the place it happened was called Deception Canyon. So in Deception Canyon, a Metropolitan Water District employee discovered what has since been identified as an abandoned PCP laboratory. Rangers found 6 empty 5-gallon plastic trash cans with PCP residue, miscellaneous glassware, 12 empty Drano cans, 2 pairs of rubber gloves, and 2 pairs of white trousers. The lab appeared to have been there for about 2 months. The road leading to the site is a dirt road and is open to the public. The U.S. Coast Guard National Response Center was notified, and the materials have been removed by a toxic spill contractor. There are no suspects. Investigation continues. I'm not sure if they solved that or not, but
hilarious.
2 months, at least 2 months at PCP lab was just, we're just like people just making PCP in the desert. All right.
That's a drug you don't hear about people making often. So that's moderately impressive.
Back in the 80s, there was quite a few PCP reports in here. So I think it was something you dealt with a lot more. I also feel like it was something way more Californian.
Oh, okay.
So it was going to 1990, and they had a weekend where they had to put several incidents into one report. And we have a couple of these. I just like this means like the Rangers had a weekend, right? All right. So over the course of this weekend in April, on the 22nd, a 37-year-old man who suffers from cerebral palsy abandoned his horse when it became balky and refused to continue. So he was suffering from dehydration and some other stuff. And basically he was like, fuck you, I'm not getting back on this horse. And they had to come get him.
Wow.
I've thought about doing that on some rides before. I was just like, that's some balls to do. All right. So also the same weekend, a 21-year-old resident was bitten by a rattlesnake. Then this is very sad, but it's okay. It's very sad. I'm just going to preface it with that. A female juvenile found a live military anti-intrusion grenade, pulled the pin, and detonated the device. She was engulfed in flame and phosphorus, which was extinguished by her mother, who transported the child to a medical facility. The child's grandmother, who was also at the scene of the incident, fell and dislocated her hip and fractured a femur. A search of the area was conducted. No further ordnance was found. The searching for that, however, led to the following. Rangers discovered the 19th clandestine drug lab along the park's boundaries over the past 3 years. The lab was found in Long Canyon, just 100 yards outside the boundary. Discarded chemical containers and numerous empty M16, AK-47, 9mm, and .45 caliber shell casings were found at the site. Riverside County deputies are investigating, and a hazardous material disposal unit cleaned the area of toxic materials.
That's insane.
It's insane.
Also, that poor mom, because you know how pissed she was. The kid and her mother. I mean, she was very worried about both of them also, but like...
Yeah, but now she's got like a kid, like a mom with a broken hip, a kid that's like found a fucking grenade.
Up. Like, are you kidding? It was
like
me? This woman needs a martini.
Yeah, and also this poor park rangers, like,
oh my God.
just like they're like, what, like, no, and when they found the lab,
oh God,
they're just like, can we just pretend you didn't find it,
Can we just find this next week?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So another one that was like that. This was in March of 1992. This was the last week of February. 4 persons were arrested and charged with burning 6 picnic tables. 2 persons were arrested and charged with collecting 66 cactus plants. A hazardous materials team was called in to remove 3 barrels of toxic materials, which were dumped in the campground by unknown persons. A county hostage negotiating team was called in to assist in the removal of a person under the influence of hallucinogenic mushrooms and LSD. The man was screaming for park rangers to shoot him and was successfully talked into surrendering after 2 hours. This was the second incident of this type to occur within a 2-week period. Then a successful 5-hour-long search was conducted for a drunk college student who became lost on a fraternity outfitting. 6 Marines were arrested for being under influence of alcohol, drunk in public, and attempting to assault a 4-foot 8-inch tall female with a burning stick. The fuck, Marines. And then also that weekend, a person was arrested for drug use. The 97th such arrest made this year this was just in the Indian Cove campground. Not even in the park. March 3rd, one campground, 97 arrests for drug use.
Wild.
Oh, the 90s.
That's one a day.
Yes. Okay. So this one, and I hate to say this is one of my favorites because it's really sad. So again, we're prefacing with this is really sad. This happened April 1st. This is not a fool's day. April 1st, 1998. Follow up on homicide. On October 25th, 1997, rangers discovered the body of a woman buried in a golf club case on a park road that is infrequently traveled. Several months of investigation ensued, which revealed that what happened to her. In early 1997, the victim, BH, and her boyfriend, HB, stole more than $1 million in Austria and fled to the United States. They arrived in the Palm Springs area in October and checked into a hotel. The pair then played several rounds of golf with a local pro. HB apparently strangled BH sometime thereafter and buried her in the park around October 11th. HB then checked into a new hotel in the Palm Springs area and played several more rounds of golf with the pro, telling him that BH had been hit by stray golf balls and didn't want to play anymore. In early December, HB's body was found in an overdue rental car near Mesa, Arizona. He died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound from a shotgun he purchased from a friend of the golf pro. None of the stolen money yet has been discovered.
What?
Dun, dun, dun. So their names were Helmut, the guy who died, this was his name, Helmut Bitterman. Of course. And then her name was Bridget Hausleitner. So they stole 3.8 million German marks from company Riverside County. He strangled her. He was found dead from that gunshot wound with a pair of her panties in his pocket. He also turned in her golf clubs for new ones. Remember he carried her in the golf bag? So he exchanged those golf clubs. What a douche. All right. So then there was another one. I want to finish one. Yeah. There is somebody tried to sell cats because they kept they had bobcats and I forgot 3 leopards, 2 servals, tens of thousands of suspected marijuana seeds and seedlings, cocaine, a pistol, photos showing marijuana cultivation and other large cats on the property, including lions, tigers, cougars, and ocelots. And I'm sure what they were doing on JT, but okay. It skips. Oh, okay. Oh, this is so July. This is so 2000s, and it's something I completely forgot about happening because sometimes, a lot of things have happened since the year 2000. Go figure. So I forgot about this one. Yes. 4 hikers were attacked by a swarm of bees on Sunday, June 25th at the Negropolis Formation, about 4 miles park of the park's west entrance. Each was stung repeatedly, with one victim receiving over 100 stings and breaking his leg while fleeing the attack. The bees have since been positively identified as Africanized honeybees. Dun, dun, dun. Did you remember those? I forgot about those. So the area adjacent to the attack.
I'd forgotten because we moved on to murder hornets, so I missed it.
Yeah, we went on from those. Yeah, so they couldn't find the hive. They never found it. So these bees were just running around and just stinging people and then moving on. I forgot about them. Okay. Our last story took place in April of 2003. Conviction for arson, vandalism of natural resources. There was no arson conviction. That's a little wrong, misleading. But they started off their report saying, Joshua Tree has historically been a popular gathering spot for outdoor enthusiasts during the Christmas and New Year's holiday. During the 2002 holiday, all park campgrounds and facilities were full. While patrolling the Hidden Valley Campground after dark on New Year's Eve, Rangers Tim Bertrand and Scott Fisher saw two people in a rock formation above the campground. After hearing the distinctive sound of a tin white gas container hitting the rock, they observed a large fire erupt on the face of the formation. When they identified themselves to the pair, both fled from the area. The Rangers apprehended them as they climbed back down the back of the formation, because you've got to get down the rock somehow. So where the hell did you think you were going? Because they were rock climbers. All right. So both were cited for arson with mandatory court appearances stipulated. Later on, the Rangers were patrolling the campground. They came across a site with a large fire and several people talking loudly. They recognized JT and EW from earlier. JT made several statements indicating that he had no remorse or understanding of what he had done. He had stated several times they plan on doing the same thing next year, and he would like several other fires. JT also said that as the editor, he was not supposed to do things like this. Several days later, the Rangers discovered that JT was a senior editor for Climbing Magazine, one of the top two publications on rock climbing. Yes. So on April 4th, JT and EW appeared in federal court. They appeared separately in front of the magistrate and each pled guilty. JT showed no remorse and did not apologize for his actions to the court. He was cited for a Class B misdemeanor, also called a petty offense, of lighted or smoldering material discarded in a manner to create a public safety hazard. He was sentenced to 5 years unsupervised probation, banned from entering the park for 5 years, and ordered to pay a $1,000 fine. JT does equal Jonathan Thithinga, if I can say his name with Thithinga. And so the court also required him to provide copies of the Rangers report and the court proceedings to his employer and the magazine's owner, the Prime Media Corporation. EW, Edith Horton, I think is her name. She showed remorse and apologized to the court and to the park staff present for her actions. She was sentenced to a $500 fine and 3 years of unsupervised probation and banned from entering the park for a period of 3 years. So yeah, the editor of Rock Climbing Magazine was like setting fires in the park and being like, I'll do it again. Craziness.
That's insane. For real.
That's insane. So those are just some of the highlights. And this is what I imagine that as Sam is looking for cases, that's what he's looking for, right? He's looking through the NPS reports and reading about the PCP labs. And like, so this would be like 5 campers have disappeared with their hearts missing. All right. So back to that park. Michelle, I don't know if we know her name yet, but her name is Michelle. And she asked Corbin if he is okay. And he is like, oh yeah, I just have a couple of scratches. I'm fine. And Dean's like, okay, you guys stay here because I don't want to deal with your asses. And I'm faster if I run by myself. But they're like, no.
Oh, there are others. What? There's others. There are more fucking werewolves.
Yeah. So this all seems very scary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Sam is on the ground bleeding. So he has to get his happy ass up, and they all walk out of the cabin. And now we get a flashback.
And we get a flashback. So we're going back and forth in time. And now we go back to this bartender lady. And Sam and Dean are dressed like feds, but we don't get to find out what feds they are.
We don't. And Rose is our bartender's name. And she's looking at these pictures of these campers and like, oh no, they're not familiar to me at all. I just see so many people and I'm getting old. Meh. But there's these cabins way out there that maybe they just found and crashed out in.
And they're easement cabins, and that's a really boring real estate term, so don't bother looking it up. And so they're the easement cabins in the park, and so they're like, okay, can you show us on a map where we should go? And she's so helpful, and she points out exactly where they need to go on this map. So nice of them.
So helpful. So we cut back to the woods where our Michelle and Corbin and Sam and Dean are stumbling, running along, and they are desperately trying to find a cell signal before Sam falls out. And they find like a outpost. I don't know what to call it. It's like a
ranger cabin or something. Yeah,
ranger station or something. But it's a ranger station. That
sounds good.
That has no power, no phones, but a couple of lanterns. That's what it's got.
that's helpful. At least they got some lanterns and some matches too. And so Corbin is once again starting to show how swell of a man he is. And he just was like, you know what? Sam's going to die. Let's leave him and get out of here.
Yeah, he's going to slow us down. And we're like, what the fuck? And Dean's face is like, what the fuck? And Sam's like, he's right.
I'm a martyr, leave me.
But Dean's like, nope, I'm going to go build a litter and we're going to drag him.
We're going to carry this giant behemoth of a man for a couple of miles. And everyone's like, fuck you. Nobody wants to carry this man. So,
this is where we discover that Rose is not just a bartender who knows her way around the woods, because her and a Wolfie dude are in a truck going to the wolf murder cabin and discussing that all the wolves there that died fucked this up because she set them up for a meal on a platter with these campers there. So,
and once again, we're getting this mean bitch authoritarian werewolf leader. And like, we get this sometimes. We have this with the vampire leader with the hippie chick, right? Where they're just really mean to their minions. And
they really are.
And like, why are you so mean to this man? Like, it's just rude. But so she basically orders him to clean everything up. And then she's just going to go sit in the truck.
I mean, that part's kind of boss bitch. Like, okay, I kind of like that.
I mean, I would like to do that, but I would never do that because it's mean. So Rose is a mean werewolf lady. And all right, so we go back to our other cabin, and I don't know what my notes mean here. It just says
Dean's building.
And my notes say Dean is fighting sticks.
Building a litter, yes, pretty much.
All right.
Sure. That tracks. And inside the cabin, Sam is telling Michelle and Corbin that they need to find Dean because they all just need to go and leave him there. And they're like, no, Dean's not going to leave Sam because fuck that. And so, because Corbin's like, yeah, Dean, there's no way that guy's going to leave him. So he is going to suffocate Sam. Corbin's going to suffocate Sam. That's his plan. Kill him. It's also like really not a great method or plan here, but this is what he's doing. He thinks that if
he's going to
save
Sam
himself.
Winchester.
Well, Sam's also a little blood.
That also shows how weak Sam is. I mean, I can't imagine anybody, even Corbin, his size is not that big. No. So anyhow, so somehow, like, that's happening. Dean sees the truck lights, and Sam's just like, oh, dude, you got a werewolf bite. Oh, he's trying to, but he can't because his mouth is covered with Corbin's hand.
Yeah, and then Corbin squeezes his nostrils shut, like pinches his nose, and then it's not funny. It's funny. And Sam fully passes out, and potentially dead.
Yeah, he looks like he's dead.
He looks like he's dead. Michelle walks over and sees Corbin check for his pulse and says that he's dead. Dean comes in, sees Sam on the floor, asks what happened, goes and checks, sees that Sam is dead. So everybody thinks Sam is dead.
And the girl, Michelle, kind of, I think, has an inkling that, wait a minute.
Like, what the fuck? This is weird.
Like, I walked away and then he died. This is a little weird. And Dean's just doing the Winchester death stages of grief. So the first stage of Winchester grief is, I want to fight something. So a vehicle is coming and Dean just wants to fight them.
Right. And it is pointed out that if they do that, they are all going to die. So Michelle's crying. Dean's tearing up. Corbin's like, look, we've got to help ourselves. We got to help get out of here. So Dean promises Sam's corpse that he'll be back. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's upsetting.
Yeah. And then we get a past flashback to them looking at those maps, trying to find the easement cabins, and Sam saying that this could be like camping and could be fun, which is, again, this episode is one of those reasons why you should never go camping.
It does not look fun.
Doesn't look fun. No, it didn't.
We're not campers, so that's fine.
We're glampers, and that's fine.
Yes. I like outdoors.
I like the outdoors. I just don't want to, die in a tent.
Or be uncomfortable.
Or be uncomfortable. Yeah, that's pretty much it. All right. So we're going to go from there to sad time. And Michelle is like, hey, Corbin, sup?
What happened? And Corbin's like, I saved us. I did what I had to. But he can't look at her.
Ew, because
her.
Yeah.
He can't lose her. And they magically arrive at a road. Like, it looks like a rest stop almost.
Well,
and
they're in a national park. I mean, they're not in like, in national parks can be, obviously, we went through the reports. There are lots of, places that are very off the grid, but eventually you do get to a road that leads to people.
That's true. It just was like, oh,
surprisingly, a sheriff who's not a werewolf.
Weird, right? And the sheriff's like, Dean's like, take them for help. I need to go back. And the sheriff's like, no, wait, what's up? What's happening here? And Dean's like, no, I'm going back. And the sheriff's like, the fuck you are, and tases him.
After Dean decks him, like Dean hits him, and then he salts the sheriff, and the sheriff is like, "No, you get tased.
No, you get tased," which is very reasonable in this situation. You see, you've got like these people that are dying coming out of the woods, and this one guy being like, "Take them, bye," and trying to run off, and then punches the sheriff in the face. Sheriff's going to tase you.
Probably. But we all know it's not the first time Dean's been tased, and he probably has done it for fun. So he wakes up in a hospital and finds out that he's got broken ribs and probably a concussion.
This is a very institutional and industrial looking urgent care clinic. It's kind of weird.
This is a very hospital urgent care.
Yes, but it's also like cinder block and gray, kind of prison-y for a hospital or an urgent care. I was like, oh, this is depressing as hell.
Rural urgent cares are pretty sad.
Are they? Okay.
They're not great. If having been just the ones in the country after ranch accidents, they're not pretty places. Sometimes they're just trailers. Anyhow, so, but in this, whatever urgent care that they're in, Dean's hurt, and then Corbin is telling the sheriff his version of what happened, and Michelle's like, I know what happened. They were werewolves.
Yeah, because he's like, oh yeah, Dean's brother died and we ran, but the bad guys are still out there. She's like, they're monsters, they're werewolves. And Corbin's like, I don't know, that's what that guy said. Who knows what that guy's talking about? And Michelle's like, that guy fucking saved us, and his brother did too, bro. Like, she's fucking calling Corbin out. And the sheriff's like, okay, Corbin's clearly the only sane one here, so I need to talk to him. But he's going to go have rangers check out that cabin and the station to see if anybody's there. And Corbin's like, okay, Michelle, chill the fuck out. We made it out. That's all that matters. We're okay. And the doctor's like,
does not look happy about this.
Absolutely not. And the doctor's like, okay, well, both of y'all shut the fuck up because she's stable. So now it's time to check out you, bro. Because Corbin, you clearly have some injuries. Let's see what's going on. And he's trying to like avoid it, but eventually agrees to it. So she pushes up his sleeve, and what does she see? Not a scratch, but the vampire. I said the wrong thing again. Werewolf bite.
It is a werewolf bite.
Not a vampire.
And he's like, how do I feel? And he's like, good. And that's not good.
That's creepy. So we see our sheriff is trying to call a ranger to go check on things. And then we see a shot of a very bloody dead ranger in his truck. But over in his bed, Dean sits up, and Michelle has shuffled in and says she wanted to see how he was and tell him she's sorry. He saved their lives. But he should remember that their mom used to say that death is not the end.
And triggers like, the next stage of the Winchester grief cycle.
Correct. Absolutely the next cycle. A step in that cycle.
Which is bargaining.
Yes. For sure. So we got fighting and bargaining. We're on to now. And he is digging through medical storage because he needs to talk to a scary, crazy death machine.
What he gonna do? But while he tries to do that, we get a cut to the cabin, and uh-oh, Sam's not dead.
Not dead. So we know as the viewer that Sam is alive and that Dean is about to try to do something stupid to do with death. And we quickly realize that he is going to slam a bunch of pills with a Pedialyte. It's just funny. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, that was somebody's Saturday night also, not for...
Yeah, that was a good time for someone.
Someone, yeah. Like, oh, yeah. So he's doing that, and he's like, by the way, Michelle, get the doctor, and once I go out, get the doctor to bring me back. And no hard feelings if I don't make it. Okay. So
she's just going
like,
along
what
with
the
this.
Fuck? But she's like looking at him like he's a little crazy, but she's like, okay, I guess. I don't know. She's just doing this, which is weird. And she's just like rolling her little IV around, which I assume is full of antibiotics for those poor, poor wrists.
I hope so indeed. So yeah, so Dean downs a bunch of pills, and then we can go back to the cabin, and Sam's got what I'm assuming is a clotting pad, which if they're not carrying clot with them, I don't know what they're doing. They're neat. Once again, we need to talk about the medical kits that you're keeping in trunk and on yourself. So, but there's some sort of gauze there, but he wakes up and realizes that he's not alone.
Because the truck has pulled up, and our bartender Rose and Big Wolf dude is there walking up to the building. So Michelle wants to know how Dean feels, and Dean is clearly fucked up. And then he collapses, and as he collapses, we see in the cabin Sam has fallen down, or in the station. Sam has fallen down the basement stairs because he's trying to get out of view of the werewolves. And Michelle is running to get the doctor, and Sam is bleeding a lot.
He's basically trying to hold in his guts.
Yeah, ew. That sounds painful.
It does. But he's probably in a lot of shock. Don't worry about that. He's running on pure adrenaline. Sam's just fine.
He probably can't feel it. You're right. So
back in the hospital, though, Dean is not fine. And the doctor runs in and is like, we need some naloxone.
Mm-hmm. Dean is foaming at the mouth and convulsing at this point. And we get a nice cut to Corbin in the bathroom with his shirt off, looking at himself and watching his wounds heal as his eyes go real wolfy and he grows claws shaking.
And some dudes you just know are going to be douchier when they get to be monsters, and you're just like, oh, like you're not going to be a good monster. You're not going to be like a Garth werewolf. You're going to be an asshole werewolf.
Yeah, for real. Speaking of asshole werewolves, back at the station, Sam is stumbling around this basement kind of loudly while they are inside the building. I'm very concerned about it. But
bouncer also kicks the door in, and I'm pretty sure that wasn't locked. Like, you could have just opened that door. People they didn't lock the door when they left. I'm surprised they shut it. Like,
that is just some like showy effort. Is that just some like douchebaggery? Like, watch this.
So but of course he's also a wolf, so he smells Sam's bleeding guts.
Bleeding guts. So at the urgent care, Dean is outside of his body watching the doctor and now the sheriff and Michelle all over him, trying to keep him from dying and or bring him back. But he gets a freeze frame and Billy shows up and she wants to savor this.
And she really did not think this was how Dean Winchester was going to go out. And she did have some top five, ideas. And one was eating a burger while watching Charles in Charge, which in the original, there was a version where that was autoerotic asphyxiation while watching Charles in Charge, which I'm very sad they left out.
That's funny.
Yes, I guess the burger is a little more family friendly. Whatever.
A little more family friendly.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, but Dean's like, whatever, I need Sam back. And she's like, pass, because she's got some attitude on her and I like it.
Yeah, we all love Billy.
Oh yeah. So anyway, so Dean's like, look, the darkness is out there, everything's gonna burn, including you, and Sam's the only one who can stop it, so you need to bring him back for me. And she's like, how is he going to stop it? What the fuck? And Dean has no response.
And can you
So-
stop pretending like this is for the greater good, you asshole? We all know that it's for you, you selfish little prick. And Billy just calls him on that shit. And she's like, no, sir, you are a fucking martyr and stop it. You're just selfish. And the answer is no. The answer will always be no. No more extra lives. Say goodbye to Luigi, Mario, which I'm just like, yes, that is such a good line.
That was so good. But he's like, Dean's like, well, fine, let's go to the next level bargaining, bring him back and take me. But she's like, no.
This is the next stage of grief, which is bargaining plus I added my soul.
And she's like, nope, I'm here to reap you. Also, BT dub, Sam ain't dead. Ha 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 ha. But you will be. She didn't really say it like that. It just sounded like that.
Yeah. And she's ready to toss him in the empty.
And so she holds out her hand because she said, let's go. But right then, what does our good old doctor pull out? Some big ass needle to shove in Dean's chest and wake him up.
Yep. So he get Pulp Fiction saved, and he dies, and he gets a little, he gets bounce around like Uma Thurman. No, that doesn't happen. Okay. So he gets saved, and we go back to our cabin where the bouncer is tracking the blood and tracking Sam.
Yeah, not ideal. But Sam is able to get the drop on him and stab him. So there we go. And then Rose walks down the stairs, and Sam just kills her too. Sam has had an adrenaline rush.
We just hear some squishy like snap snap snap. We don't know if like this. We're assuming she's dead because she doesn't come back out.
Yeah.
So she got saved a death scene, which is sorry, Rose, you could have had that, but so she's dead, and now we're going back to I keep wanting to call it a hospital, even though it's urgent care.
Close enough. And Dean's awake and tells Michelle he's alive. And she's like, thank God. And he's like, not so much. We got to get there. And the sheriff's like, nope, you're a psycho. I'm handcuffing you because you have now a felon. Look at all these drugs you just stole.
You just ate a bunch of drugs. You just broke into here and ate a bunch of drugs.
After you assaulted a police officer.
We don't tend to let those people go.
No, you just don't get to go run off. And the doctor's like,
I'm sorry, you can't just punch a cop and then go into the urgent care and eat a bunch of drugs and then expect to walk out.
No. That's not a good plan?
I don't think I don't think that's a plan that ever worked. I mean, maybe in like a coming of age movie, but in supernatural real life, unfortunately, this time that won't work. And the cop, but at least like the doctor is like, bitch, I'm not going to pump more drugs into him.
No. And so he steps away to go call for backup because he's got to go figure out what the fuck's going on.
So all your backup's dead.
They are. That's kind of a bummer. So Sam has now taken the werewolf truck and is driving to Baby, where he has picked up his phone. And he now
maybe
has a
some
signal.
clotting powder. Is that in trunk? Is that there to put in your fucking guts that are bleeding out, Sam? Maybe a new bandage, something before. No, okay.
No, he's just going to pick up his phone and get in the front seat. Yes.
Okay, just with your guts hanging out. All right, cool. All right.
Clearly. So Dean's able to get out of the urgent care, because Michelle helped him. And Sam calls, and Dean's like, what happened? Oh my gosh. And they're like, oh, I'm at urgent care. Oh. And then their phones break up and they can't talk to each other. It all fails. And Sam does not get a chance to tell Dean that Corbin was bitten.
That only he knows. So he is running to get this information. You can't text him. So I know there's no signal, but you could at least like put the text in and then like, maybe it'll go through. I don't know. You could try that, but that's just me. Texting was early in this age, sort of. Yeah. So he takes off, and now we go to the urgent care where things are happening in Corbin's room.
Yeah. And our doctor wants to check on him and asks, and are you okay? And he is very wolfy. Very, very wolfy now. And he says that I really am.
I know.
Oh my God.
That's your murder line. That's what you choose as your murder. Like, oh, so sad, Corbin, you fucking douche. And then he kills our doctor, who I really liked. And she was a good R.I.P. doctor. Yeah. We didn't get your name, but you were a good doctor. And
Dr. Kessler is her name, actually.
Oh,
I have her name, Dr. Kessler.
Dr. Kessler.
Yeah.
All right.
So Michelle hears something happening and runs over and finds the doctor on the floor, and she's all concerned. And the sheriff runs up, and they're both standing there, and Corbin puts his hand through the sheriff's chest. Just straight through.
Of course he does. So our sheriff, who really was just trying to do his job, just gets his heart ripped out by Corbin, the douche monster.
Monster.
He is.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, I don't want you to be scared, Michelle. I don't want you to be scared. I didn't want this, but you'll see. We'll be together
forever. And she's like, no, I don't want this. No, thank you. And
once you killed the guy that saved us, I was kind of out, bro.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you killed a man with your hands. So we're not in this. And then Dean comes in and he tackles Corbin, and Corbin's like, fine, I'm just going to choke you. At least he went to choke him out and didn't rip his heart out.
That's good. But all of a sudden we hear a gunshot because Sam's there and he shot Corbin. Yay.
And then he collapses.
Well, yeah, reasonable. Well, we cut to another scene where Michelle looks rightfully fucking traumatized because now she's been through this whole ordeal where she got kidnapped by werewolves. Her hands almost got infected.
First, she had her douchebag of a husband tell her that her honeymoon was going to be hitchhiking to national parks.
No, you're right. That's number one. Correct. Then while in those shitty not the shitty national parks, while on that shitty honeymoon in the lovely national parks with her douchebag, they get kidnapped by fucking werewolves where her wrists get so infected, her hands are about to fucking fall off and she's like out of her mind with infection. Then she watches douchebag essentially watches him murder somebody to try to save themselves. And then now he's turned into a wolf and had to be killed in front of her? What the fuck? After watching some dude take a bunch of pills, the guy that saved them tried to kill OD on pills. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot to process.
In a very short period of time.
For a short period of time. But at least, she's young.
She'll be fine. She'll be fine.
Maybe she'll be a hunter. Maybe that'll be it. But the thing is like Dean is like, okay, so another doctor has come in and explained that what happened to Sam was that when Corbin choked Sam out, Sam was just mostly dead. Not all the way dead, just mostly dead.
Which just makes me think of Princess Bride.
Yes, it's
okay.
So, but he's going to be okay. And then, Michelle, sweet, my Michelle. You're going to defend that douchebag?
I think it must be nice. And she's like, Corbin wasn't a killer. He did it for me. And he's like, yeah, but whatever. You'll be all right. Eventually you'll get back to normal. She's like, no, I won't.
And she's right.
Yeah, like what do you do? Like that's like our life reset moment for real. So yeah, it's gonna be a little...
And so there is no hunter aftercare here. Once again, they're just going to ditch Michelle, and not even with an explanation. She's not even getting a monster talk, right? As far as we know, that never happened. So we don't even know if she really knows that these are werewolves or what happened.
Well, I didn't say. She said they were werewolves, so she knew they were monsters / werewolves. And Dean mentions at one point there's other monsters, but
they didn't have to talk. No. Right. So as far as I know, she's just going to be left with this, what? So are there just werewolves? Are there other things? She's going to end up at a fucking mental institution with the rest of their fucking people they saved.
Yes.
Hunter aftercare. Do it. All right. So
Sam and Dean leave, and after Sam gets his blood transfusion, and Sam's asking how is she? And Dean's like, she's strong. She'll be all right. And then Sam's
you just left her. You just abandoned her.
Just left her. It's stupid. And Sam's like, Sam has stitches, antibiotics, and needs bed rest. So they're gonna go take care of that. But he asked Dean what he did when he thought Sam was dead. And Dean's like, I thought about redecorating your room. I knew you weren't dead.
Yeah, so now we have reached the Winchester stage of grief because now, of course, the other Winchester has been resurrected. And now this is the stage of grief where they lie to the other Winchester about what happened when they were dead.
That's what it is. Yes. That's the stages. For real.
For real.
All right.
Okay, so let's talk about some of our werewolves and Michelles and doctors and sheriffs.
Casting couch. It's the casting couch. Were they on that show that time with that guy? La 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 la.
Yeah, so we will start with Michelle. She's played by Erin Way. Actually, a lot of her career was spent as a ballet dancer, but she's been in episodes of Private Practice, Hawaii Five-0, Grimm, Grey's Anatomy, Rizzolian Isles, Bones, NCIS LA, and a few episodes of Handmaid's Tale. She was also Abby in the collection. Corbin was played by Blair Penner. He's been in episodes of iZombie, Wayward Pines, The Flash, The Good Doctor, and Van Helsing, and Ghost, and has also done a lot of Hallmark. Dr. Kessler was played by Eileen Pedd, and she's been in episodes of X-Files, Taken, Smallville, True Calling, Arrow, Travelers, Bates Motel, iZombie, and Snowpiercer. She was an anesthesiologist in Final Destination 2, a nurse in Freddy vs. Jason, and was Gerda in Juno. Sheriff was played by Toby Levins. He's been in episodes of Fringe, Once Upon a Time, Almost Human, Once Upon a Time in Wonderland, Unreal, Wayward Pines, Fear the Walking Dead, Arrow, Lucifer, Altered Carbon, Sirens, iZombie, Stumptown, Van Helsing, and Last of Us, and was a fighter pilot in the 2014 Godzilla. Rose was played by Suki Kaiser. She's been in episodes of Medium and Arrow, and was Lydia in the 99 Virgin Suicides. 1999, the Virgin
1999, not 1000.
No.
2000 Virgin Suicides.
No. I'm giving the year of the release on that one. And then our wolf dude, which they called something else, but they didn't really give him a name, that just walked around with her a lot, was played by Ryan Jefferson Booth. And he's been in episodes of Smallville, 4400, Fringe, Once Upon a Time, Arrow, Flash, Superman and Lois, and was a reoccurring character named Dino in iZombie. But yeah.
Oh, yeah, they were a fun cast. I liked the group of people. Like it for a Monster of the Week werewolf and also Winchester Die episode. Like it was still not that. It wasn't that much of a bummer, I guess.
No.
Like Sam died, and we weren't that sad, but.
Right, which is a weird, like at first you're like, what? And then you're like, oh, okay, no, this is too much. It had a lot of movement to the episode, I guess. That's why. But yeah, you didn't linger on the sads. You were in the go, go, go.
Yeah, and although, I mean, this is episode 17 of the season, so y'all are gonna need to talk about, you can't just keep, like, pretending she's not there. Y'all are gonna have to figure out something to do with
the
Amara.
big bad? We might need to do something with Amara?
Yeah.
We might need to figure out what's going on with Lucifer inside Cass. Like, I don't know. Those seem like important storyline components right now.
Yeah, we may have to figure those things out, so...
Yeah.
Or not. I mean, it could just be like Winchester aftercare and we could just walk away.
This is fine. This
is fine. This is how it ends. Bye. That's kidding. Okay, well, we could end that way, but we'll end a different way. We'll end the way we always end, and I'll say cheers, jerk.
Cheers, bitch.
Devil's Trap Podcast is a Don't Be a Dick production. Meow.
Devil's Trap Podcast is part of the Ship It Studios Podcast Network. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Devil's Trap Podcast, Twitter at Devil's Trap Pod, or you can email us at devilstrap@devilstrappodcast.com. Don't forget to subscribe, leave reviews, and share with all your friends. We're at all your favorite podcast outlets and at devilstrappodcast.com. I'm Babe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.